decades, Russia was seen as the enemy of freedom. In Reagan's America, they called it
an evil empire.
In Trump's America, land of God, guns, and country, Christian conservatives are falling in love with Russia and Vladimir Putin. Have you met him?
I've not, no.
Would you like to?
Absolutely. He's fantastic.
G. Klein Preston IV, a successful lawyer, family man, and Christian conservative. Russian dolls, Russian books, Russia everywhere here. Preston, born and raised in the South, believes Russia shares his values on same-sex marriage, gun rights, and terrorism.
And we're very similar people. In fact, you could take many Russians, you could put them in a room with people that are from Nashville, Tennessee, and everybody kind of looks the same.
He does business in Russia and has built some very close ties with power players like the deputy head of Russia's central bank, Alexander Torshin, a former senator and Putin ally. You consider Alexander Torshin a friend?
Absolutely. Senator Torshin is a gun enthusiast, and he's a big proponent of the right to bear arms.
Stand by!
That's why, for the first time this year, when American gun lovers went to Russia to compete in a shooting match, Torshin was right there, sharing a table with Team Russia at the medal ceremony. He's a regular at NRA meetings, tweeting pictures with the former NRA president. They were introduced by Klein Preston. Other Christian conservatives are having the same change of heart, inviting a delegation from the Russian Orthodox Church to the first ever Christian Persecution Summit this spring, organized by another Putin fan, evangelist Franklin Graham. The two met in 2015.
I think he's, again, an honest person, a direct person, and so he's going to do what's right for Russia.
Former CIA officer Daniel Hoffman spent 5 years in Moscow and much of his intelligence career studying how Russians operate.
They devote a tremendous amount of resources to understanding us, what makes our political system work, where the interest groups are located, and then, in certain situations, seeking to influence us as well.
They're looking for information and joint interest so that we're not adverse to each other.
Do you ever suspect at all that there's more to Torshin than just a great friend and a public servant?
Do I suspect that? Well, you know, I don't live with him, so I couldn't tell you, everything about Senator Torshin.
In fact, Preston knows Torshin was a wanted man in Spain. Spanish judicial sources say they were investigating allegations that in 2013, Torshin was directing a money laundering operation for the Russian mob. Spanish police tell us they were ready to arrest Torshin the second he stepped off a plane. They say they had teams here at the airport, and the prosecutors were on standby around the clock for days. Torshin never showed. Commander Francisco Martinez says the case was closed.
We hope that he come here, but at the end, no come here, so
can't do anything.
I couldn't arrest it.
Torshin did not respond to our request to comment on the allegations. Klein Preston believes he's innocent.
He's a brilliant man, but he's not a mobster. I've never heard a bad word about him.
The Russians are experts at finding common ground.
If there's a guy who we know has a top-level job in Russia, and he's hanging out with the NRA in the United States,
sure,
is it possible that it's just because he likes guns?
It is. It's also possible that he may be collecting information about a person, understanding what makes a person tick, and then feeding that information back to Russian intelligence.
Both conservatives and Russians we spoke to said there's nothing sinister about their newfound friendship. In Red State America today, a poll taken in May found almost half of Republican voters, 49%, consider Russia friendly or an ally. Is Russia actually our ally?
Russia considers us to be the main enemy, glavny protivnik. This is what the Soviets said about us, and it's what the Russians would continue to say today.